Let me be clear. We are living in the last 30, 40 years of human history. These are the last days. The return of Christ is near. This is now the time that we get into order and get out of the old church system and into the kingdom culture, the kingdom mindset, and the kingdom model that the Lord is going to establish on the earth forever.
What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? King Chris the Brilliant here. I want to welcome you to The Mountain. This is a podcast that I am beginning with a number of friends of mine, and they will be joining me in the future. And this podcast and this, discussion and this community that we're going to be building is supposed to be kind of explaining and building upon the mountain of the Lord, building upon the mountain of God's community, the city on the hill, unto the return of Christ and the preparation for his return. Some time ago, through my journeys of service with him, he's definitely given me a viewpoint and being able to been on the journey of climbing what I would say his mountain and been going in different places in him and learning um, what I believe is kind of the seven hills of the Lord. You can call it the seven spirits of God. The different giftings to come to an understanding of how we can be one, how we can move as an army, and how we can become the mature people of His royal house before His coming. Before He returns, He is looking for a pure, spotless bride who is actually mature. And so I hope with this podcast, The Mountain, to be able to expedite all of that, his return, the maturity, the unity, all of that within his people, and for us to make it to a place where we are shining brighter than we ever have. I believe this is our moment. So I just want to just encourage you to, this is the very first podcast that we're episode that we've done, or at least a promotion thing I'm doing. Anything I'm doing. This is the first time setting up this camera and doing this. So if you would, obviously hit subscribe, share this with somebody, or just don't even do that. Whatever. Just say, I don't know. Just thank you for being here. I'm just appreciate you guys watching this. And we are going to be talking about, at least I'm going to be sharing a little bit about my journey and a little bit of why we're here on this podcast, which is, I think, is going to go to the moon. This is something that I felt the Most High told me to do. Some years ago, I felt like He told me to get off of social media really before I would do a lot of live videos on YouTube and all types of stuff. And He just told me to stop all of it. And I felt like this is now the time that He's putting His finger on things, and He's saying, now is the time to flood the internet. Now is the time to bring this message of the kingdom, We are now, I want to make an announcement, and this could be an official in a sense, but this could be a non-official but official announcement that we are no longer in the church age. We are now in the kingdom age. Since 2020, we have now transitioned out of what we call the Gentile-led Christianity, Babylon kind of mixture within it, Christianity, into what God is building now is His kingdom, of the way He wants it, the way it is, the way it's going to be when He splits the sky and comes right on the white horse and bringing His government. That He is coming with a sword on His side. He is coming with armies at His command to execute His enemies, to bring His justice and righteousness on the earth, and to establish His kingdom forever. And it is my honor, my greatest honor, the greatest thing I could ever do. Not to be what I used to want to do when I was a kid, maybe be a marine biologist or be an actor or, do something like that. But the greatest thing I could, that truly, that He could offer any of us is to serve in His kingdom, and greater so to serve in His kingdom at the time of His return, at the time of the greatest shift in human history, at the time as the last hurrah, the last trilogy, the last of the last. We are the last. I believe we are in the last generation. One of the things I felt like the Lord made clear to me and our team will make a whole video about this, but just to kind of put that out there now, that we are 25 minutes before the Lord returns. We have 25 minutes before Jesus returns. So, set the timer right now. So, okay, I'm not talking about 25 actual minutes, but the Lord taught us to communicate in that way because we're saying within the context of discerning seasons that we are 25 years out before either the return of Christ or the seven last years of human history, which is laid out in the book of Revelation. So either or, regardless, it's a shift. It's a total government transition. And give or take 10 years, who we're on. And I think we'll get even more clarity. But we have a witness that here in 2025, we're actually 25 years away from his return. And so this is amazing revelation. You don't have to believe me now. We'll be able to expound on that later. We'll be able to talk about that later and go on this journey together, listening to the Holy Spirit. What is he saying about his return? What is he saying about the time that we have? Because if you say you have 25 minutes, if I was to call, if your auntie gave you a phone call and say, and your auntie from out of town, she said, I'm 25 minutes before I get to your house. That's just enough time to clean up. That's just enough time to organize the house and just kind of straighten up before the person gets there. And that's where we're at right now. We're at just enough time to get things in order, just enough time to get things in order before the return of our King. And this is amazing. This is amazing time to be alive. With that, 2025 also marks the 70th 50-year jubilee since the beginning of counting them. Now think about that. This is the 70th 50-year jubilee. Last one was in 1975. Here we are, 2025. So here we are. We all know like 7 is completion. Here we are at 70. So this is the 70th completion, the 70th jubilee starting this year. Also, through the book of Enoch, and we'll talk about this later, but I'm just throwing it out there for something to look at on your own if you want to look into it. But we're also in the 9th week that the book of Enoch lays out. The book of Enoch lays out 10 weeks, which are 700-year periods. So each week is 700 years. And each week of those 700 years has a prophecy over it. And all those prophecies have come true. These prophecies have ranged from the flood to Noah, obviously Noah, to Moses is what I meant, to David, to obviously Jesus, before Jesus established to David, and then the establishment of the temple. And so all these weeks have had a prophecy over them, and in the mid, and when the researchers do the research on it, they find that in the middle of that 700-year period is when the prophecy begins to take place, begins to manifest. Well, right now in 2025, we are in the middle of the 9th week prophecy of the book of Enoch. Now, you may be asking, what is the 9th week prophecy of the book of Enoch? I won't give it fully to you right now because this is just kind of me flowing right now. But what I will tell you, that it pretty much says that the judgment of the righteous one shall come. The judgment shall be given. Judgment shall be given against the sons of wickedness. The righteousness shall prevail. Evil removed off the planet. So that's the prophecy over the 9th week that we're in, and we're now, based off the pattern, we're now in the middle of that 9th week, which is significant because every other week the prophecy begins in the 9th week. So I believe that we are at the very beginning stages, and truly beginning of stages of the shift of the governments, the shift of the planet, and this podcast, The Mountain, is something I'm going to be building to help gather his people in, help bring some clarity, help bring some leadership, some understanding of what God has put in me, so that we can be better equipped, that we can be better ready for his return, that we can be better unified in the pursuit of his kingdom on the earth. And so we're really excited. Now, why am I saying the mountain? What am I calling the mountain? I want you to picture Christianity like it was on a mountain, like just a huge mountain, and there's different levels. We call the first level is people who go to church once a year, people who, check the box, they're Christian. They say that's what they do and this is who they are. They will say, I said the prayer once. We would say the second level of this mountain are people who live there who are, they go to church every Sunday. They read their devotionals. They read, devotionals. They may have prayer time. They might even go to a Bible study every week. They believe in God, and they're good good citizens, and they're good Christians. We call the third level the level of charismatic, or people who are praying for healing, and hours of prayer, and movement, believing in the impossible, and people who are a little bit more extreme in the faith. And the fourth level is what we call council. Is the what God is really establishing, is the ecclesia, the ruling body, the council that we will begin to identify as a ruling people over regions and territories. And so this is where we live, is at the fourth level of the mountain, overseeing the rest of the mountain, and coming to a place of um, kind of a plan and unifying and preparation for His return. What we say about the mountain, though, it's cold up here, and the air is thin, and so what we do up here is not supposed to be necessarily elite, but it's our position to try to bring a oneness to the whole mountain, because